pool.
That's what I was like, Eddie.
Maybe I could find all those people. Probably.
When you said you got mad at a poor person,
That's right on cue.
I was like, you're building into the stereotype.
But I didn't hate him for being poor. Well, I did.
You kind of did.
Indirect way.
That's actually
the
what
way he handled it.
You said you hated someone for being poor.
I did. I thought it was funny.
We are live. On a Saturday, we never film on Saturdays, dude.
Never. Weekend cast.
We're in weekend mode.
Hell yeah.
Maybe that's why we'll get more engagement this time.
Uh-huh.
We're in such a weekend chill mode.
I was thinking about, I got you that heated mug, and I was thinking about the cold equivalent, and it's the, I went to this,
Should explain what a heated mug is first.
it was a mug that keeps your coffee warm for hours.
You plug it in and
Yeah.
infinitely warm, I guess 4 hours.
4 hours.
Yeah.
We have to put it back on the coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can just buy a bunch of coasters and store them around here.
It's true. Cheers.
Cheers. I don't know if I told you about this, but I went to like this lodge thing, and in like the smoke room, whatever, it looked like a pool table in the middle, but the surface was all ice, and so you would just put your drink on
I've seen those.
on this ice, and it was it got colder.
It's
the
like
longer
it's an
you
ice
had.
bar, I believe they're called.
But it just, you know.
Well, I guess so. Yours was just one surface.
Yeah, it's like imagine you had a little hockey rink in the middle
Okay.
of the room. That's what it was like.
I've seen bars. I think it was in like, either Vermont or somewhere.
Where it's all ice.
It's an ice bar. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like everything keeps your
It's
drinks
like
cold.
below zero.
But that's just
whatever.
like drinking outside when it's cold.
Yeah, the room was warm, but you could just put your drink
That's
on
kind of nice.
It was very cool. Like if I ever had money to spend, I would get something
one of
like
those.
That was just, that to me felt like the height of luxury.
I mean, it's like in your house. You just have like one.
Yeah,
at the bar
I'll
top.
flip it on for parties.
Do you think that ever would be like an annoyance?
I was talking to guys and they're like, it sucks. Like the pipes are bursting constantly.
Yeah, there's gotta be some.
The ice will overflow and then they have to like chisel it back down. And
Whereas just like cool glasses would probably be just as
or just drink your drink at a normal rate.
smaller drinks.
It was really useful when I was like getting drunk towards the end of the night, and so I was like just barely sipping, and then I was like,
Damn,
otherwise
that's
like I
cool.
would finish the drink
Yeah.
before I realized much.
Maybe they make really big, super strong drinks that cost, you get like 3 drinks in one, but you never have to get, because that's like usually the reason why you would want, beers would be bigger, but they get,
Oh, I see. If you have a big drink,
yes,
then you need
that
the
just
ice
stays cold forever.
So that really gets a double cost because now you bought the ice table, and now you need to buy triple drinks.
Yeah,
or whatever,
exactly.
just to make it all.
They got to cover the fucking ice table. I'm sure it's not cheap running that thing day and night. I do enjoy a nice chilled glass, but like you said, I mean, this beer is not going to get to a point where it's
We
too
have second
warm.
beers just sitting out. It's fine. Yeah.
That's true. I feel like the tall boys can get a little warm, and especially if it's like an IPA tall boy, like that.
Well,
those
also
last
you're,
couple sips.
you're holding the can the whole time, so
Well,
you're heating.
I stay strapped with koozies.
Okay. Yeah.
That is my father loves koozies. He's got like my dad has a lot of weird habits, but one of them is just always having like 5 koozies on hand at all times, and he's very strict about getting the koozie in return. And it used to scare the shit out of my friends in high school because it's not like they asked for a koozie. He's like, hey, I have a koozie,
Yeah.
They're like, oh, thanks. And then he's like, but make sure you give that back to me. I was like, oh, fuck, I'm going to be drinking 8 beers.
It's like how the mafia establishes power. Here's a small loan, $10,000. You better fucking give it back.
Yeah, he wants a koozie and 10%.
Yeah. It's a little bit of another koozie.
And we're all underage too, so he's like, and I would never call the cops on you guys.
Yeah, that'd be a shame. Imagine what that would have to do to your careers.
Oh, I don't want the koozie. Take the koozie.
Yeah.
You want the koozie. I do love a koozie though. I mean, it's a perfect, like, we've done those friend trips, and every year our friend makes koozies from some saying or something that happened on the previous trip, and it's like t-shirts would just be tricky and sizes. It's like koozie fits everyone. We're all gonna use a koozie on that trip, especially. Like it's a good party favorite.
I'm imagining the size thing, like everyone has to put in. I just see the girls getting very competitive about that, being like fucking someone's crying
We
and
did
they
a
type in
spreadsheet.
large.
It's like someone puts an 8, someone's like, I don't gonna put a 7. Just get closer and closer.
It's got the conditional coloring where it gets like redder the fatter you are. It like stands out.
Conditional formatting. When we had my cousin's bachelor party in Texas, I actually made a really funny shirt with Zach's face. I like chopped it up and put it all on the shirt. But I was ordering this for like 13 guys. One of Zach's friends, bachelor men, was 6'6", 6'7". So I kind of have to do the double XL. It was one size only, and like I figured the double XL on the smaller people would work better than the medium on the 6'7" guy. But we all wore them one of the nights that we went out. It looked like dresses. Like one of my cousins, smaller guy, he was like, I'm not wearing this again. he looked ridiculous.
You guys you gotta tuck the shirt.
Yeah, but then like the design on his was like cut off. He was tucked in like halfway up his shirt. So like there was no good way. Like his pants were puffy because it was so much rolled up on the top.
It's crazy. It's all one size.
Yeah, I mean it was somewhat. I could have done individual sizing, but it was a much greater cost.
Oh, size.
And I was already doing this out of the kindness, so I was like, yeah, we're all getting double. And me being an XL, I'm like,
close enough.
I can do a double.
I grow into it as I relax in my older years.
And I will say, this is pretty funny. One of my cousins, he was like 22, is the groom's brother, so he's the youngest guy for sure. And he's wearing this dress shirt. And we're out at the bar, and this girl who knew my brother through a coworker, like we basically met her that night. She looked at my brother and I. She was like, obviously noticing we're all wearing the same shirt. She goes, "Who's that guy over there? He's so hot. He's just my type. Can I talk to him?" Mm-hmm. And we look over, and she's pointing to our young cousin wearing
in the big shirt,
in the dress. We both were like, him? She's like, yeah. She was attractive, so we were like, absolutely. Introduced them. They went home with each other within 30 minutes. Like, I guess.
It's like I'm wearing this shirt every day.
Every night. Yeah, all of a sudden it's his favorite shirt.
I'm imagining they get home and it's just both of them in the shirt. Like,
yeah.
The double XL.
He takes the shirt off. She's like, actually, can you wear the shirt during?
She's like, they just have sex right there. He just loops her in at the bar.
That was his move on the dance floor. Just open the shirt up, bring her in. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an ugly shirt, but I will say it is amongst the comfiest shirts I own. It's like a Nike dry fit. It's like a pajama shirt.
Yeah.
So I love wearing it. I always get a good memory of my cousin being wasted and my other cousin going home in this dress.
Every time you put it on, you think of your cousin having sex.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Like, oh.
In a good way.
Yeah. I got mad at not to change the topic.
No, please.
Unless you have anything else to say about the shirt.
No.
I got really annoyed at a guy for being poor recently. Just like, well, it wasn't. It was started with sympathy. So what happened is, I was doing a mic and you had to pay $5, or you had to buy a drink at the bar, and the bar only took cash under $20, and I wasn't gonna spend whatever. So I go to the ATM and I'm behind this guy, and he's taking forever. And finally he steps back and he's looking around, and I get a chance to glance at the screen, and he tried to withdraw $60 and it got declined. Okay? But then he turns around to me and he's like, "It's busted, man. It doesn't deposit any money. It's fucked. I'm gonna go talk to the bartender. I wouldn't even try." And so now I'm in this position where I have to be polite and pretend I didn't just see his thing get declined, and I'm like, "Oh, that sucks."
Damn. I guess I'll give it a whiz then.
Yeah. That's what I was like. Is it rude? Because I was really yeah, whatever, man. So I give him time. I'm hoping he just talks to the bartender and leaves because I don't want to embarrass him, So he goes to talk to the bartender, but now while I'm waiting, some other people go and start using the ATM.
Clearly depositing cash.
Yeah. And so they go, and now I'm annoyed because now I'm I just got bumped back in line because I'm trying to be nice to this guy who's just doesn't. He's putting on a play for me to convince me his card didn't get declined.
Which is so funny. Just eat it, bro.
Just you could have just said nothing.
What's he saying to the bartender too?
He's waiting at the bar. He's like, oh. He's not really trying to get the bartender's attention. So it's just but then the two guys. This is a gay bar. It's this European. I
assumed you were
Swedish gay. Yeah, this is where I spend my time. This is a Swedish gay couple, and they go there.
Wait, did you say the sweetest gay couple?
No, they were Swedish.
Okay.
For real, whatever.
The sweetest gay couple.
An adorable gay couple goes, and then because they're from Sweden, their card isn't working because they don't know the country code. And so then they're the ATM's not working. They turn and say to me, and I'm this is nuts. I'm just watching people fail to use this ATM. And I saw the guy behind me just like, what a stroke of luck.
I know.
Some validation to this story. Like, if I hadn't seen the decline, I would have been like, this ATM is broken. It doesn't work. I'm like,
that is really, he's like, please have this Swedish couple come
and fuck it up. And so then, finally, I'm like fed up at this point. So then I just go and I do it, and it works perfectly, like any ATM. And then the guy who was declining, couldn't do it, was one of the open mic dudes.
Damn.
So, like, I sat across from him. But
did he do well? Is there a reason he's got no money?
He was not funny. No, I don't think so. I don't know.
What if he's listening?
That'd be crazy.
We would still accept your view, but sorry that your bank account.
Yes, I would not have cared. I don't care how much money's in your ATM.
Yeah, we don't
judge.
Like,
when I was like being nice and not using it for a second to give him a chance to like finish his performance, and then the guy stepped in, I'm like, I should never fucking.
Yeah, never again.
Never am I gonna be nice to like protect his dignity.
On Thursday, I went out to dinner with my grandma and my mom, and the hostess. I was literally wearing this shirt actually. Took my hat off. I had on, work pants. Nothing too fancy, but I looked fine. My mom and my grandma looked nicer than me, but nothing crazy as well. And it was like 6:15, a semi-nice restaurant, but it's in a Nordstrom. Like it's
the restaurant is in a Nordstrom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which when mom was like, we're going to Nordstrom for dinner, I was like, the Nordstrom off the rack, the clothing store. But like Lord and Taylor would have a restaurant in it.
Sure. Yeah, I can imagine.
Exactly. It was nice. It was right on the windows.
I don't imagine a restaurant.
You walk
imagine like
through
a Starbucks,
the retail store, and it's on the second floor. Like, it was a nice restaurant. And we asked for a table, and the woman was like, "Oh, do you have a reservation?" And I said, "No." She was like, "So sorry, we're booked for the night. We can
Nordstrom restaurant is booked
on a Thursday, mind you, like 6:15 is early, like way earlier than you would assume. 8:00, sure, on a Thursday. But I was surprised. She said the whole night. I was like, all right, that seems crazy, but I take your word for it. You can sit at the bar or the lounge, and the lounge was like right next to the hostess area. And it's my grandma. She's like, I don't want to sit. The tables. It's like couches basically. But we sat down, we ordered a drink, we're like, I'm looking up other restaurants in the area, and while we're sitting there, a foursome shows up, older people, dressed nice, and ask for a table, and the woman's like, do you have a reservation? And they say no. She's like, no problem, I can seat you right away.
No way. Maybe they were wearing Nordstrom clothes.
Maybe, they were fresh off the rack. I saw them come up, and I saw them get seated, but I assumed they were going to the bar. Just because I wasn't listening to the conversation. My mom, being the hawk she is, heard every word and was pissed, dude. I was like, Mom, I'm sure they went to the bar. She got up and went to see that they were seated and came back. She's like, they brought them right to a seat. And so she's like, I'm gonna say something. And I'm like, okay. I agree. It was a little, but I'm like, this hostess, she's a young woman, like
what did she have against you guys?
I don't know. That's why, again, we didn't look like I wasn't in sweatpants. I guess. We were talking about it later. A threesome with an old lady, love you, Graham, is like a bad setup. Threesome already, you're supposed to not give more than a foursome, like a 4 table, because then you're losing a third of your revenue. Sure. Yeah. But my mom did say something when she came back to the hostess, was like, "Oh, are there no tables available? Because I just saw you seat that table of 4." And she was like completely flustered that we called her out. The waiter actually just came and told me that there was an available table. Like it just had. And I was like, And she's like, yeah, it didn't. It just worked out that for them. But why? Do you want me to see if there's any other tables available? Mom was like, yeah, if you wouldn't mind. And she walked. She's still in earshot, and I literally looked at her. I was like, what? Like what? And then a second later, the waiter came over. And was like, there's actually a table available for you. God. So we got sat at immediately. I know, and I mean, I took, it was probably because of me, I would assume, just looking the worst, being the youngest, but my mom absolutely took it very personally. Our money's just as green as anyone else's. I was pissed. I didn't think it was the hostess's doing specifically. Is she making
the job? She probably had some weird order, like you said. Where don't seat 3 tops.
Exactly.
Old ladies.
The more I thought about it,
very specific orders.
It would have been really specific for her to not be like the executioner here. But I just couldn't imagine her having like the decision power of this fancy restaurant. Our waiter was really nice, and my mom told him like, "You're the only reason we stayed." Like she was. and she wanted to say something, a glass and a half of wine later, on the way out, but I think the hostess saw us leaving and ran away from her post because there was no hostess when we walked in. So, I mean, she definitely felt embarrassed, which, that's, at the end of the day, that's all I...
Yeah, I don't think she has the power. I think she has, obviously not threesomes with some, like, very specific where, like, you should only see certain parties because it's better.
I guess, but yeah, it just...
How scrubby were you looking? Like, what were you
I was
wearing?
literally wearing this shirt, work pants, nice shoes, took my hat off.
It's in a Nordstrom. Is it a nice restaurant?
It was, but it wasn't the nice, like, I would put it almost equatable to, like, a Capital Grill pricing.
Even that's too nice for Nordstrom.
And Capital Grill would seat me.
It's like if Capital Grill was in TJ Marshalls or something. Like, it's not
Nordstrom's kind of high end.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, we gotta know.
It's like a Saks South Fifth kind of.
All right, that's maybe better.
Yeah, no, I mean it's like, you walk through the Gucci and whatever sections of them.
It's maybe like a Taco Bell in the Marshalls.
Yeah. That's probably more on par comparison. But I mean, it was surprising, but like I wasn't that offended, and they also did seat us. I don't know. It felt weird that this lady was the one who made the decision, and like tell us to wait a half hour or something. Like, oh, we have no tables for the entire rest of the night. Like, that's not even possible.
The whole restaurant.
The whole restaurant. I think 4 hours. We will not have a single table.
She's on a power trip. Just every once in a while, she likes to just like turn people away because she
went to the bathroom, flipped her bean.
Yeah, she's like, I'm so sorry.
That old lady looks so sad.
There's no tables available. It's the South Park episode of The Cable.
Yeah.
We'll be there anywhere between noon and 9 p.m.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't blame you, lady, although it was a little fucked up. But again, she's got to be having some sort of director.
Yeah. She's definitely done that many times. It's the first time she got called out. So
probably.
She'll change her ways.
You got to have a better excuse, though.
You got to be ready with something.
I know, especially because we were sitting right there.
She should have gone after you and just been like, have you seen when you're sitting yeah. You expect to be seated in a restaurant in a clothing outlet?
Was wearing black Crocs as well. They were, but like they were kind of low key.
Crocs alone. She's like, your shower shoes in our Nordstrom restaurant.
Yeah, I'm like, I do love my Crocs, but I told you they betrayed me the other day when I was going golfing, and I like to wear my Crocs. I have my golf shoes like in my golf bag. And it's nice to switch out of your shoes at the end of the round into like sandals or Crocs, whatever. So I wore them walking to the train station at like 8:30 in the morning. I was pretty hungover. It rained the night before, so it was wet out. Mm-hmm. And I do know that the rubber soles of these Crocs are not very, it's the trash guy. They slip in the rain. Like I've slipped a little bit walking around the city. I don't like wearing them when it's wet out. But I was like, fuck it, I'm late. So I'm walking, and I slipped a couple times to the point where I was sticking to the pavement, but when you go on the ends of the sidewalk, like before the crosswalk, there's like that, they're almost like bubble, I don't know what kind of material, it's almost like a super hard plastic. Like, you know how the sidewalks have...
Oh, the stuff for blind people to know where the edge is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That. Those were really, really slippery because it's just not pavement.
Yeah. And
I was on guard the whole way to Grand Central, and then I got 1 block away and I just forgot what I was stepping on, and I ate shit with my cup of coffee and my golf club. I fell forward. I landed like not on my face, but on my knees and like on the ground in the wetness. I apparently scared the shit out of some lady because she screamed louder than anyone else involved in the situation. And 2 people held me. Like, it was just so embarrassing, and I'm never wearing my Crocs to Grand Central again. I was so mad at myself. They betrayed me.
That'd be a funny, like, they have that stuff where you can present to the city council, and it's like blind people versus people that wear Crocs, whether or not we keep the yellow things in the streets. And they're like, we don't want to get hit by cars. We slip in our Crocs.
I almost spilled my cup of coffee.
I hit my knees and then fell. It was right on my head. It was like,
I bring my 6-iron. You see this scratch right here? Not because of you.
I never shanked a shot a day in my life before this fall.
I was limping for the rest of the day. It definitely did not feel good.
You were born without sight. This issue was preventable.
Yeah. It's actually a man-made issue. Yours is a God-made issue.
Yeah, this is you're taking...
Is blindness like hereditary?
I think like maybe I don't know. No, not usually. Usually it's like
by cause of some
something.
issue.
My grandmother literally
like
fell.
right?
She fell off a swing, hit her head, went blind 2 days later.
That's crazy.
And that was literally almost 100 years ago.
Could that happen nowadays?
Yeah.
Like no, we would get in front of that first, right?
So what
do they know what the medical reasoning behind it was?
Apparently, literally a piece of stuff that connects your eyes to your brain got knocked off, and like they can't replace it.
How did it go gradually?
I guess it was like, I don't know. This was 100 years ago.
That's what I almost would hope that if your 2-year-old fell off a swing and you brought them to the hospital, they could like identify that. And if it wasn't a way,
sure.
Like if she knocked her vision off immediately, I would
maybe now they would be able to fix it.
Like stop that.
But she's over the years done stuff trying to get it back.
Well, yeah. I feel like,
no, some stuff is crazy.
Sure, but I feel like your best chances are.
They had one dude. They hooked up sensors. I'm gonna fuck this up because it was so long ago, but like I'm pretty sure it was like on her tongue and like her temples, and then like she could like she's
not licking you to figure out who you are.
She's still licking to find everything. But she said that she could like they had like a table in front of her and they put like a ball. She goes, "There's a circular ball." Like she could just almost basically see.
Why didn't she keep running with that?
Because I think none of this stuff is practical. Like it's like, hey, if your job is identifying balls on tables, boy, do we have a product for you. But it's not like it's gonna help you navigate the world.
There has to be some applicable situation there, like the dogs that smell cancer, shit like that. Like maybe there's some situation.
Well, I told you about the blind before there were self-driving cars. They had the gloves.
Yeah, the haptic gloves.
Yeah, that was so fun.
That's just an insane route to take.
Well, that was the way it worked for our listeners out there. It's like it was at an NFB convention, the National Federation for the Blind. They hold conventions, which are crazy. First of all, it's crazy because this year, for the blind convention, they had a buffet. So like, if you're not first, you're following a line of people. You're like, oh, these are the bagels. Oh, cream cheese,
tuna
here,
salad,
some
chicken
salad. Whatever the last item in the buffet is just a mush of all the previous
Everything
items.
else is fingernails. Okay. There has to be Braille signs, right?
No, like this was on the hotel. They were like included breakfast, and I think they just didn't think to change their normal buffet.
Or maybe they assumed that. Is that really what they do? They feel the food?
For real? Yeah, that's you have no other choice.
I guess, yeah.
And like blind people, some are better than others. Many of them lack social skills because they've never seen anyone make an annoyed face in their life. You know what I mean? Like it is strange. People that would.
Oh shit! Did I piss you off?
Oh, he's mad.
You like try to actively change their. No. See, you're happy. It's true.
Yeah, it is strange because you can tell that they're regular people, but just something is off because they have never seen anything.
I mean, yeah. Well, let's not get canceled by the blind community. They could be our best listeners.
They are our best listeners. They hear every detail. But the people that went blind later in life, there's a very obvious difference between the two.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like any sense you lose would hinder your abilities to be like totally normal, like, you know, unless you had them for a while, like any of them.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying not having them for a while because the guys that went blind later saw all the social cues, you know.
I know, but like even losing your hearing from birth, I feel like you would.
Oh yeah.
Probably a little better.
Have you heard them talk? They're terrible at it.
Like they wouldn't understand. Can you sign in sarcasm?
I guess you kind of like raise your eyebrows.
Yeah. I guess they get a lot of the facial cues are pretty important.
Yeah, when you're
to like understand human, you know, psychology and sort of. But I would think being blind is harder than being deaf, right?
Yes, I would say so for sure.
And probably harder on like a socialization.
Yeah.
But like, you know, when you think of socializing, you're just talking. That's like the base of socialization. And
yeah, we're doing more than that. You know,
a deaf person can't really talk.
But the deaf people have, I think, their community is like you. Yeah, I think so. Honestly, I think there's more deaf colleges than blind colleges.
Are blind people a little more like on their own mentality?
That's my sense of it.
Well, when I see a blind person in New York, my mom used to work near like a school for the blind in the city, and so she saw a lot of them near her office. And I remember telling us like, you'd see a blind guy walking near like the subway entrance, and your instinct is to like stop them.
Yeah.
But she said if she ever like went to help someone, they would be very defensive. No, I'm gonna hold you.
Yeah.
Which totally makes in New York, like you're slim pick.
He's been robbed 100 times.
1,000,000 times. So
he just got robbed like 5 minutes before he got out. He's like, you're back.
He still doesn't even know yet.
Yeah, he's about to. He's like, you touched my wallet's gone.
So I do see the, appeal of kind of being on defense. Whereas if you're deaf, you just probably have less of a social circle because you can't really talk to everyone.
Yeah.
But the people that you can talk to, you can have totally normal conversations.
And they're like serious, like the deaf people will get mad at you if you like go for cochlear implants and stuff. They'll be like, what? I'm serious, man. They'll get upset. They're like, oh, you're abandoning deaf culture?
Yeah.
Like you're leaving it behind?
Oh, you want to hear?
Oh, what are you, a sound? This is your sound kink?
What's like the derogatory word for it? Oh, you little sound fucker?
Oh, what are you, a good listener, are you?
Yeah, but you're a great listener.
Oh my gosh, just hours and hours, just listening.
Audio slave.
Yeah. Music's not that great, we know.
Why wouldn't you want to hear if given the opportunity?
Obviously, I'm pro hearing, but it's like
you could still sign and like do everything else.
They get annoyed. It's a crazy phenomenon, and I've never seen that for blind people. If there was a fix your sight thing, they would all get it immediately.
And they'd be like, yeah, you should get
like,
this,
you're
bro.
still blind? There's eyes at the store. Go get eyes.
Oh, you haven't seen the flyer? Yeah, here. I got dinner on Easter with our neighbors, Jim and Lizzie, and my parents. And Lizzie, who has watched us online, I guess, she claims we're a poor person, fat people hating podcast. That was how she described us to like my mom. I was like,
all right.
That's what I was like, Eddie.
Maybe I make fun of all those people. I probably.
When you said you got mad at a poor person,
that's right on cue.
It's like you're building into the stereotype.
But I didn't hate him for being poor. Well, I did.
You kind of did.
Indirect way.
It's actually
the way he handled it.
You said you hated someone for being poor.
I did. But I just thought it was funny. But yes,
and
that's funny.
I won't say you hate fat people, but you did bully me as a fat child,
and you've turned out great.
Yeah,
you're not a fat child.
I'm like a slightly chubby
I
adult.
bullied you out of being fat and being a child.
Well, I would still just be a kid growing outward instead of upward without your words of wisdom. Yeah, I mean.
I've definitely for sure made fun of all those.
I felt like it was when she asked like what is our theme, then I was just like,
oh, that's a good. She's got it.
And it really didn't help that I didn't have an immediate answer for she was like, see, it's just hating on.
Just say comedy. You say we're just trying to be funny.
That's a better answer.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was like, no, we just bring up points and have discussions. She's like about hating fat people. Again, I don't hate fat people. I'm all team fat.
Okay.
I mean, I want people to be
You're team fat? Why are you going to join their team?
I've been on the team. That's what I'm saying.
Why'd you leave? It's a great team.
I feel like I didn't make that many changes.
I've noticed this about you. Your weight loss was actually kind of fat phobic.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm sick. I'd rather be skinny.
Do you think the fat people
abandoning the deaf community?
Feel like the deaf? I feel like they do. Like when a fat person loses weight, you do lose that like fat friend group.
Totally. Like Adele got shit. Do you remember when she started losing weight?
Yeah, I was thinking of Lizzo.
Oh,
she was the one that was like, you need to be fatter to her dancers, but then she went on Ozempic and lost a shit ton of weight.
Yeah.
Which felt crazy.
Uh-huh.
Also, to just tell anyone you need to be keeping up with the fatness is like...
Well, I didn't know this, but apparently she did like America's Top Model, but for fat backup dancers. And she did, which we love. Like, auditioned and like, I don't know. That just strikes me as
I guess if you're
crazy.
showing up as... If the role is fat backup dancer, you get the job, and then you start to lose weight. I could see Lizzo's point.
A violation of their contract.
Yeah, breaching contract. Because I feel like any acting job that calls for an overweight cast member, like, we didn't cast you because you were on a health kick. We cast you because you're overweight. If you went on a health kick. Are we going to address the book, by the way? I'm just realizing that Putin has been...
I feel like it just needs... It's just a nice little promotion.
Yeah, but should we explain?
Sure. Our first sponsor is a book by the great Rob Sears. It's Vladimir Putin Life Coach. in case you want to. Here, I'll read out some of the chapters.
Yes, flip through a random.
No, this is what the chapters are. How to make friends and influence elections.
Very important for the modern individual.
You to the power of Putin. Oh, that chapter is 30 pages.
Lot to break down on that.
The 12 tactics of highly ruthless people. From the Kremlin to your cubicle. Honestly, great chapter title.
What do you think that, like, how to turn your work life into your Kremlin?
Yeah, I think you take lessons from the Kremlin and apply them to your cubicle.
I have a lot of gay people in my office. I don't know if those strategies are going to apply. Aren't you not allowed to be gay in Russia? I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's covered in advanced reputation hacking. you first destroy the reputations so that you're not seen as homophobic. Was that on Lizzie's list, homophobia?
I don't think so.
No. What was it? Fat, poor?
I think it was literally fat, poor.
Okay.
Mostly fat.
Hey, of all the groups we could be hateful towards, those are the most accepted, I feel like.
I feel like I can't. I definitely don't hate on poor people.
No, I don't hate them either.
I hate that. Excuse me, that one. You just hate a poor
I just
person.
think they're less than. If I was going to I do like I think it's funny, the whole congestion pricing in New York City, where they charge you $9 driving lower Manhattan. They're like, oh man, traffic's bad. You know what's causing it? The poors. Let's get them off the streets. Finally, I can get to the coffee shop on time or whatever.
I think, yes, it definitely...
It's just poor people now can't drive down there.
Well, it's going to piss off, I think, any middle-class American as well.
Yeah, but they'll do it, versus...
most of it was for commercial. So that was where the big...
But I think maybe they get charged more or something?
Way more. It was it's significant.
Still.
So the efforts were to stop those box trucks from blocking the traffic.
But then they also were like,
and the poor. Well, I did see one rich dude was complaining because he lived on the cutoff of I think 57th Street.
Mm-hmm.
He lived on 59th, and his kid's school was on 55th. And he's like,
no.
I drive them to school every day. I'm gonna have to eat this fee every day.
Uh-huh.
And the internet responded with, "Fucking walk your kids before." What? You're the reason there's traffic. Why are you driving your kids 4 blocks? And for anyone who doesn't know, New York, that is a 5-minute walk, maybe.
Yeah, if literally so fast. It's like when you're walking at a brisk pace, it's like a block a minute.
Yeah. Which maybe you don't want to walk your kids on the street, but then don't live here.
Yeah.
Live somewhere else.
That is a hilarious complaint to get.
I'm team congestion pricing.
Yeah, you like the congestion pricing?
As someone who doesn't own a car in New York.
Sure, yes, whatever. Yeah, charge as much as you want.
Literally, go crazy. I never drive in New York. I'm always taking the train.
When I had a motorcycle, I never paid any fees. I would go under the toll bridge and I would just lean back and grab my license plate with my hand.
That feels so illegal.
Oh, it's super illegal.
What do?
This was, what's the statute of limitations? I was 8. But it's just so easy to just be like, I'm just going to take the Easy Pass Express and cover one of these letters.
I guess there's no real way to find you.
No, not really.
But
look, if I also murdered someone, they would use that to be able to track me down.
Wouldn't this be an easier way to not get tracked after murdering? They wouldn't know your license plate.
But you know what I mean? My point is that if you found the photo of me covering it up and you had 3 of the letters and a motorcycle, a good detective is going to find me from that.
Well, I'm also
they're not going to bother.
They might catch you on a traffic cam down the road with your license and be like, this is clearly the same guy that
Yes, yeah. But they're not going to bother for a toll fee to do that. Or at least they didn't.
How many times did you do this?
Every single time I went under a toll. Unless there was a cop right behind. You know what I mean? There were a couple times where I was just too blatant and I couldn't do it.
And then they just grab your license and that's it, right? You don't have any Easy Pass, right?
Yeah. No, and then I would get charged or whatever. I've seen some guys where it's on a hinge and they have a little wire and they just reach down and pull it up and put it back.
It's a magnetic flap.
Oh, I've seen those too. Yeah, where they can flick it up.
I saw a cop. It was someone getting pulled over on their bike, and the cop comes over and he seems pretty chill, but he's just like, "Hey guys, you can't be doing whatever they were doing." And he's looking, and he's like, also because the license plate was not locked in it looked like it only had top. He's like, "This can't be flapping." And he tapped the dude's license plate, and it immediately just stuck to the top back. And the cop looks at him like, "You're fucked."
Yeah,
But that is such an you're about to do something illegal, just flip it up.
That's why I thought the hand is so much better, because then I don't have I haven't built equipment to break the law. You know,
Sure.
there's no evidence of that.
Well, it might be pretty obvious when you're going.
Yeah, but they have to see me do it. It was like a real.
You're just the coolest biker ever, one-handing it.
Leaned back.
Do you miss your motorcycle?
So much, man.
Just hop on a city bike. It's like
I do all the time. It's not the same, but it's better.
Dude, those electric city bikes?
They move. That's the only.
I think they've slowed them down recently. I've noticed the last couple weeks that they feel a little less powerful. I was shocked at how fast you would go on them a couple months ago. Like the new white ones, the big ones. Like easily 20 miles, 25. Yeah, like
that's always. But then someone gets horribly injured and they're forced to bring it down.
But like, you know, if it's an electric bike that a kid could be going that fast, essentially. You know, if it's the bike, obviously they can't put like guards on those. Bike as fast as you want.
Yeah.
But when they are providing it like a motorcycle in New York City, it did feel a little too fast. Like, why do they care that the city? You get more money the slower they go.
Dude, that's like when the Lime scooters first came out.
Oh my
I was
god!
in college.
They were
in DC.
dangerous.
They all went almost 20 miles an hour.
Easily, yeah.
And you're just on the scooter, which is way more wobbly than a bike.
And like, I did one in Texas, or no, it was Nashville. I was in sandals, drunk, flying on a scooter in between traffic. I was just like, this feels so dangerous.
It's also so fun.
Yeah, I mean,
when they first came out, we didn't have nowhere to go. We just went and rented them because they were fun to whip around.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, should we Uber home or should we take these 6 limes?
Once they came out, we took almost no Ubers in DC.
They are not cheaper than Ubers though when there's more than like
but
3
goddamn, are they way more fun?
Yeah,
yeah. When there's like 4 of you, you're paying like 2-3 times.
Everyone's paying like $9. But yeah, it does feel more. Also, I'm not bound by my slow friends. The cheaper ride is for the fastest rider. So,
I see.
They were paying $9. I was paying $7.50. I was cooking home. The one we did in Austin, I was on like a Route 1 coming home. Like it felt like a highway. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, there's cars passing me on both sides. Yeah, scooters are they popular still? We've never had limes in New York, thank God.
I think they had it for like a week.
No, I don't think they were ever. They made it to Hoboken.
Yeah, they would have.
And the Rebel, which is like a moped. Revel?
Yeah.
I've seen those in the city, which, I mean, that's like you have to follow the laws of traffic. Whereas if they give you a scooter, they're like, it's like, you're like you're a pedestrian. Yeah, you're a fluid pedestrian, biker, car, whatever. Non-binary vehicle. I do not identify as any vehicle. But thank God the limes aren't here because they would just. The fact that you could park them anywhere is such an issue.
It is chaos.
Yeah, like people just leave them, take a photo, and it's like.
And in New York, there would just be a giant mound of them in Times Square. Like,
yeah. I mean, it would cause so many accidents for sure. When I was on one in Nashville, I was going up like a bridge, and it was like a walkway bridge, but there were 3 scooters parked, you know, like quarter mile ahead of me, and there was a guy on a bike, like a regular bike, coming towards me, and he got past those 3 scooters and just kicked them the fuck over, like really aggressively. Clearly he was mad that they were there, and then he looks at me and I'm riding it. I was like, is this guy about to fucking kick me? Like, I was like, oh, bikes, scooters, and then all of a sudden this guy's attacking the scooter, and I looked down, I'm like, I'm on a fucking scooter. Like, what if it's not just their placement? He hates all lines of scooters. I was a little nervous.
That's funny. I heard about a kink I had not heard of before. Tell me if you've heard of this. A breeding kink?
I know people will use the word breed as like a, I'm so breedable right now, or who wants to breed.
Breeding kink is when you get off the idea you're impregnating that person. Yeah. You're getting pregnant.
No, I've definitely heard that.
But that's like being so kinky that you've gone full circle back to a healthy relationship with sex. That's what it's for initially.
I want to raise this child at 18.
My kink is
college.
My kink is a loving marriage where we love and support each other for 40 years.
I mean, I think the difference is the breeding kink is nothing to do with the post-impregnation. It's just like, I want to impregnate.
Sure, but that is what sex is. You know, at its core, like you've gone full circle. You've gone past hedonism back to like that's what my parents think. They're like same. They're like sex is for reproduction. They've nailed it. The breeding kink people and my very conservative Catholic parents.
Your dad gets hard at the idea of impregnating your mom, or is it like
probably I don't know.
The sex is what gets
6
him
kids
hard?
with her. He definitely was enjoying it. I don't know.
Well, I see on like, you know, Line all those Twitter porn accounts, a lot of the captions are something to do with them being extra breedable or looking someone to breed me this evening. It's like, Jesus Christ. It makes it feel way more animal. Like breeding
is like the most animal thing you can do, is have sex pretty much. Sort of eat me.
I have a loving relationship kink.
Yeah.
I have a supportive husband kink. I just love being supportive. I mean, yeah, I guess it's not really a kink if you just want to like. No, I
get it. It's basically what they mean is they want to cream pie strangers. That's what they really mean. But like the way they word it,
maybe that's a better way to word it.
Yeah,
I have a jizzing inside of you kink.
I hate pulling out. That's why. Yeah.
Do you know who Shannon Sharp is?
Mm-hmm.
And did you see his whole situation this week?
I know he did he put a sex tape out or something?
So he's 55, let's say.
Okay.
And he is on ESPN First Take, which is like a popular talk show on ESPN. And
he did the interview with Cat Williams, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So he also I don't know if that's actually tied through ESPN. I'm not 100%. That's like maybe his podcast where he just does the one-on-one, but he has a morning job where he talks sports on ESPN, the network. And a couple months ago, he accidentally went on IG Live and posted him having sex with this girl. It was a little odd because it's like, how the fuck do you accidentally go live on Instagram?
How many buttons to get to live? Like, is it?
Not
can you just tap it once?
Yeah, but like he was filming them having sex. You would think you'd be a little more careful.
But so he had to like get to IG Live and then be like, "This is what I want."
Like,
maybe he meant to put it to his close friend's story.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what were you trying to do? Because if it wasn't the camera app, like obviously you were.
Can I go live on it?
Yeah, I think if you go to like create, it's one of the options like photo, video, or live. Exactly. It's not like there's a automatic button for it.
Yeah, it's too many buttons.
It is.
He was either trying to do a post, a story, a reel, or go live. None of them are good.
Yeah,
for sex.
And it was, he claims a mistake. I think it was because like there was no reason for him to do it, but it just was odd.
Mm-hmm.
But ESPN essentially didn't punish him because it was, mutual sex. They said, and there was no real crime, and it was just an accident. So they were like, fine. Flash forward, this is like 3-4 months ago. This past week, the girl was, I think she's like 19. She was 18 at the time, like legal, but definitely a very large age gap. And she is suing him for $50 million for essentially rape, like unconsensual.
Oh. And
she then released an audio tape where it's like, hard to get the full context, but it's 20 seconds where she's like, I don't think, you should say that. And he's like, if you say that shit again, I'm going to choke the fuck out of you.
Okay.
So that was what she released with the lawsuit.
Was that
Exactly. Yeah. So that, it didn't sound good for him, but his lawyers retorted back, which this is why I'm bringing up the story. They said that they were in a, often physical relationship that involved wording like that. And they released some of her texts that she had sent him, and I have to read. The video I saw was the lawyer reading these texts, so it was a pretty funny read. But I'll give you some of the. We're filming, right? Jesus.
Yeah, I know. I just
made me nervous.
I get paranoid. It's not filming.
The first one. Quote, I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're fucking me. So already, it's like clearly choking, slapping is...
Yes.
And that was their whole reason. I know you missed this big juicy ass. $25K for each cheek. So again, they're like, she likes to be choked and she wants money from me.
She's a prostitute, it sounds like. For each cheek? How do you do a one cheek transaction? I don't know how.
I think it's just a $50K or nothing. Like that's
that was the itemized receipt.
So, I'll just read you off. There's only a couple. Only if you put that baby gravy in me, then I can do whatever I want.
She's got a breeding kink. She wants the baby gravy.
I want to put my tongue in your asshole and then marry you. He released these texts, which is so funny.
Wait, these
are from her to him.
Okay.
Which is...
Yeah.
I guess
already she.
Well, that would imply that her tongue has previously been in his asshole. I would imagine.
Well, maybe because does it imply that they're married? No. So that's what's been holding. That's how she's gonna propose. She's gonna put a ring on it.
That's my daddy. Fuck. I want you to put a big black baby in.
Big black baby.
Not just a normal black baby.
This black baby is too small.
You better crave it, because you're going to be stuck with it for life after you put a big black baby in.
She definitely has. Was that the second big black baby?
There's a big black baby.
Is she black as well?
No, she's white.
Okay, that makes sense. It'd be weird if a black girl was. She'd just say a big baby. But it sounds weird.
A baby.
If you were like put a big baby in, like that doesn't have the same ring.
I think baby would be more appropriate for the same race.
Wow, so she's got a breeding kink.
I guess so.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's I think it's gonna work out for him.
It sounds like, just based on that.
But it is really funny to only be like, fine, I'll release the texts. Only yours.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is he saying in response? I want you to text me in 30 minutes saying you want me to put a big black.
It's just the most respectful stuff ever. I would love to take you to dinner and get to know you better. Put a big black baby.
One of the texts, she's like, you better crave it.
He's like, I crave your company and affection. You better crave it.
You better crave it, because you're going to be stuck with it for life if you put a big black. He's definitely saying I'm craving your.
No, I know. I hope it'd be so funny. He's just so.
I crave your love.
Yeah,
you better crave it. You're stuck with this love.
I think that you would make an excellent mother. You're so kind and loving. That's right. Put a big black.
I crave your motherly instincts. Well, you better. As soon as this big black baby's in me.
That is really funny.
Yeah, she is very hot. I mean, she's an OnlyFans model. He's a studly looking guy too.
Sure, yeah, I've seen him.
So, kudos to him, but I guess not really.
Well, let's say Bill Burr had a bit about almost exactly the situation. He's like, when you get accused of sexual assault and they're reading it in court, they're like, the defendant said, please, no, stop, you're such a bad boy. And Bill Burr's like, she didn't say it like that!
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of clips resurfacing now because he has that podcast essentially where he's very candid. That's why I don't think it's tied to ESPN, because they talk about, it's definitely not tied to ESPN. They talked about him being with a lot of young white women, and Cat Williams is like, you need to stay away from those white women. He's right. Tells him exactly this situation is going to happen. Of course he's right.
Wow, these chances sharp.
How was that cat impression, by the way? I didn't feel that bad.
That was pretty good. I liked it.
Surprised myself a little bit there.
He put it on IG Live. That's the
part. I know, exactly. As soon as she saw that, she was probably like, I can. And it's the same lawyer that went after Jay-Z for that same rape claim that he.
I don't know the Jay-Z story.
It was very similar, 10 years ago, but I'm pretty sure that was thrown away. It was just to drag him through the mud, which Shannon's saying this is extortion. This is just another black man getting brought down. And I mean, it definitely does fit the bill of that case. Young white girl thinks she can get money out of a rich black dude that.
I think, do you think it's racial, or do you think it's just any dude? You know what I mean?
I think there is some racial tendency there, just because, already there's a stigma that, black men are...
You think she wouldn't do this to a white guy?
I just think she probably knows that this is more likely to work out in her favor, being a white woman with a black man on trial kind of thing.
Maybe, I don't know.
I think so. I think that she would think that her chances are better, and
we'll have to wait till a white guy puts her on IG Live, and we can compare.
See one of us chime in. I also just think athletes are, most football players would be black, and they are a very easy target. Athletes live a Now
that I think about it, these superstar athletes are the real victims. They're the ones suffering.
Kobe is a victim. It is like a Kobe style case. He definitely did wrong things, but.
Oh, Kobe's accused of raping someone, right?
Yes, but I think he just paid.
That's what Ari Shaffir got in trouble for when he died. He's like, a rapist died. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
But he got a lot of hate for it at the time.
Yeah. I mean, the guy just died. So
Sure, no, I'm not saying
it's definitely a
I know.
poorly timed joke.
Uh-huh.
What are we at? What are we at right now? 48 minutes.
All right, I got something else.
Let's hear it.
I have this neighbor. Maybe I've talked about on the podcast before.
The one who goes door to door asking if you're.
No, that's a different neighbor. This
You
neighbor.
got an interesting building, bro.
I do. He lives right next to me. He's the closest apartment to me, and he's like super nice and very kind and like has helped me out in the past, but like off his rocker. Like he'll stop me when I'm coming outside. He's smoking a cigarette or something, and we'll talk for a minute. It's always interesting, but it's always him feeding me blatantly wrong facts with the most confidence.
Doesn't he have like reptile facts or something?
The reptile facts was the last time. This time I go to talk to him, and I asked him how his art was going. I think you ask him any question, and you just have to ask him one.
It always gets
and then you just
reptile.
listen. But he goes, "Oh my gosh, your art's going great. I just got paid $30K to paint this art piece on the inside of this rich guy's boat." And like, who knows? I believe him, but also kind of maybe it wasn't
before or after taxes.
Yeah, whatever. But he's like, yeah, and I was painting there, man. It was tough because it was rocking. And then the businessman, a bunch of super rich businessmen, showed up to the yacht with a bunch of ladies in bikinis, and they came in, and I was like, "Can you leave? I'm focusing on my painting." And I was like, "Oh, that's crazy." And he's like, "Yeah, when you see people like that, you gotta watch out." And I was like, "Oh, what? The businessmen were skeevy?" And he was like, "Nah, the ladies in bikinis." And he's like, he's like, "Those girls are dangerous."
He's probably speaking some facts.
But the tangents, dude. So he goes, "Those girls are dangerous. At TSA, they don't really get checked that well." And I was like, such a swerve.
Not where I was thinking, what does he think they have weapons?
And then he goes...
That's the only thing TSA is checking for, by the way. Bombs and like drugs.
I know. Well, he said they were dangerous.
Not dangerous drugs.
And then he swerves and he's like, "I used to sell drugs stuff all over the place." And then...
Is that rain?
Yeah, it's rain coming down.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm forgetting a piece of the conversation, but then he goes to tell me about Genghis Khan. And he goes, before Genghis Khan, we didn't wear pants. I'm like, what?
So we were extra dangerous.
We were shirts only until 1200 AD or something. And he's like, "Yeah, man, because we're riding the horses." But it's just, every time I speak to this guy, I'll say one thing, and it's just, I get taken on an adventure of stuff that I knew, like the pants thing, I was like, I know that's not true.
Yeah, I feel like the pants were invented before shirts. Or just like, they were invented together. I mean, there was never a time...
1200 is the same time as like knights in England. You know what I mean? They
had armor, let alone pants.
Yeah. It's, but it's just... So it's fun. I always enjoy it.
I'm so curious because like I could see if he was leading to like girls in bikinis on boats with rich dudes, maybe have bad priorities kind of thing, like dangerous in the sense like gold digger.
That's what I thought he meant.
But as soon as he brings in TSA, that I am so confused.
You never know where he's going, which is what's fun about it. It's always a sudden turn.
It does probably keep you on your toes.
Yeah, because I'm like, all right, skeevy businessmen. You know, I could see being creeped out by a bunch of billionaires.
Sure. And he's like,
no. The girls in bikinis. And I was like,
ninjas in bikinis.
Yeah, it's like, gotta stay away from those women.
I guess he was talking about drugs, but then it's like, you used to do drugs? How does that make
Yeah, and also like these were super rich like businessmen. They weren't being like, yeah, this is my mule with cocaine up her behind, you know?
That is funny. We should get this guy on the pod, dude.
We should, man. Well, it would be we ask him one question and then he goes on that tangent.
And we'll probably be our most successful episode.
It would. It only ends when I'm like, I gotta go. Like that's how our conversation doesn't end otherwise.
I could light him. I'll give
you a minute left. All right, man. Let's do jokes.
Let's get funny.
Yeah. Do you want me to do the folded one, or do you want to do it?
I'll let you handle it.
Okay. All right. Pick two of these then. All right.
We've done this joke before, I think.
Oh, have we? They say opposites attract, but I know that can't be true because the only women I attract are tall and ugly as well. That's kind of funny.
A little self-deprecation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one that I saw Mike laughing after he wrote it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
A straitjacket is only called that because a gay man would never be caught in that much polyester.
We might have done that show.
Yeah, it's a good one though.
Yeah.
What's a gay jacket then?
I think anything
like a John Cena t-shirt.
anything with a cheetah print that's marketed to men. I don't know. Ooh, oh, I can't rebound.
Back. Again, you don't do the over the arm.
What do you do?
I have to go like this, which is why I'm going with speed but less accuracy. You get like that dart throw.
There's no way of doing it. Oh, it's not recording the speed.
Yeah, but it would look
okay.
like.
All right, when you do it.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
I don't think I hit the camera because which camera's recording? Are all three recording?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know how it works. I could never date anyone that gets spray tans. I'm too pale. People would think we never hang out.
Yeah, this is your wife? Sure.
Yeah, she looks like she's been in the Caribbean for the last 2 months. Oh.
They say that a picture is worth 1,000 words, so hieroglyphics must be a dense read.
Every word is
Every fucking word
is 1,000
like
words.
40,000 word novel right here. It's probably true. I mean, if you think about it, it's like, yeah, I have to make a whole story out of these like 5 pictures. You're probably getting a lot of words per photo.
Or you ever see like Japanese? Like sometimes it'll be like one symbol, and it'll be like, oh, this means the bus stop is 17 miles away and you should make a left. It's like too much information. It's one little thing.
Dude, yeah, like any language that's written like I don't know what you would call that. That style of writing.
Fancifully? I don't know.
Well, where it's like words combined into one word.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know.
It does seem like they're getting a lot more value per stroke.
But then also you have to like you have to be almost an artist.
My handwriting would be atrocious.
Yeah.
Like it's already bad, and I'm not.
I feel like with them, it's like bad handwriting translates to different words.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're getting a whole new language. Those are like some pretty smooth rhymes.
And good times.
What's the Moose Lounge?
What's the wee music? Nice. That's the Moose Lounge.
Can I turn this up? I don't know. Maybe something.